Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to 6 Plus Plus. I'm Jasher, your host, and I'm joined by Joe. And we're going to be covering the brand new Grotmas Blood Angels detachment. How are you, Joe?
Very well. Very, very well after reading this attachment.
Yeah, so good news, sounds like.
100%. Uh,
Okay. You've played a bit of Blood Angels, played quite a lot of Blood Angels recently, really.
yeah, I've been known to dabble in Blood Angels since I started the hobby. um, I'd put them on the shelf for a while, but I'm very much back, and this detachment has very much cemented that I am a Blood Angels main right now.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely reads quite good. So we'll go straight into it. It's the Rage Cursed Onslaught. You know, a little bit hinting at what it's about. Maybe, Black Rage, Red Thirst, Death Company. We'll see. So
The liberal
detachment rule,
application of extreme violence, basically.
as are all the other detachments, but yeah, in this case, the most liberal. Um, so detachment rule, Maddened Ferocity. Each time an Adeptus Astartes model from your army makes a melee attack, re-roll a wound roll of 1. Simple, no constraints, real ones, it's a wound in combat. Each time an Adeptus Astartes unit from your army is selected to fight, if it made a charge move this turn, it gets +1 attack until the end of the phase for melee weapons it's equipped with. If that unit is battle shocked, it gets +2 attacks to the melee weapons they're equipped with. Um, okay, so that's pretty interesting. What do you think, Joe?
So, I mean, if you're not battle shocked, it's basically lag, but a different flavor. Like you get the extra attack, and you get something that makes your wound rolls more consistent. Lag is effectively a +1 to wound where you're going to be needing it. A +2 strength usually puts you over that breakpoint. Reroll ones to wound is just a flat 16% increase.
Yeah.
So more reliability on the wound roll. It gets really interesting though when you're battle shocked and you're charging, because +2 attacks might be quite good. It will require some testing. It will require some testing, but +2 attacks, I'm going to go out on a limb and say is pretty good.
But Joe, I say, getting battle shocked is really difficult unless you're playing Night Lords. I am never battle shocked, really. All my units are dead. I wonder, that's never going to come up, right? Surely.
Chekhov's gun is a literary device.
um, we will
So
cover getting battle shocked a bit later, but it's
I mean,
maybe
basically,
easier than you
this is how
think.
battle shock detachments should work, right? Don't worry about battle shocking your opponent. Battle shock yourself.
Yeah. Which could be quite difficult for some armies, not for Blood Angels, though, as you'll see.
Easy, easiest thing you've ever seen.
Um, so that's covering the strats. We'll go to the enhancements now. So you've got the Carmine Reliquary. It's an enhancement for a chaplain. Bearer's unit gets Scout 6. Already great. Each time you take a battle shock test for the Adeptus Astartes unit within 6 of the bearer, you can re-roll the result. Not sure how that
I mean,
helps you get more battle shocked, but what do you
I mean,
think?
it do it. You don't necessarily have to re-roll fails. That's the thing.
Okay.
You can re-roll a successful battle shock test and hope to fail it.
Yes.
Um, that second bit, I think that's a nice to have. But the first part is what it really stands out, and anyone who's anyone will go, that's going to be horrible on 10 Death Company with jump packs.
Yes.
What if I just moved 18 inches turn one? What if?
Yeah, well, it's never going to happen the same way my Warp Talons are never going to do it because I'm not paying for that. But I imagine that's probably quite good on Death Company. Uh, so,
Yes.
Master of the Red Thirst. This sounds like one we've had before. Adeptus Astartes model only. Once per battle at the start of the fight phase, the bearer can use this enhancement. If it does, to the end of the fight phase, models in the bearer's unit have the fight's first ability. Okay.
I mean, this is just pure value, right? Like,
Yeah.
we've seen it in lag, we've got it here, and a once per game fights first is effectively an all the time fights first because
Yeah.
you're putting it on something like Sanguinary Guard or 10 Death Company, and your opponent goes, I don't want to charge that.
Yeah,
I'm
you
never going to charge that.
you can make a real problem unit, and it gets so much better once we look at the strats as well.
And like,
Um,
this is one of those enhancements where I reckon in most games actually you never use the fights first element. You never actually use it. It's the implication of using it.
the threat,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
threat of extreme violence
Are these
that
are
will
these
come to you.
berserkers in danger? Yes.
If they're within about 30 inches of a Blood Angels model, they're probably in danger. So,
Yep.
Sanguinary Tear Aura. Adeptus Astartes model, while a friendly death company is within 6 of the bearer, add 1 to the strength of weapons equipped by the models in that unit. Um, yeah, how would you think?
So, interestingly, it's not melee weapons, right? It's just weapons. So, your Death Company Dreadnought, if you've put the heavy bolters on, they go to strength 6. If you put the multi melters on it, they go to strength 10 with twin linked.
That's quite good. I've heard there's a lot of
Um,
vehicles that are strength 9 and 10.
there are a lot of vehicles that are strength 9 and 10. Your Death Company bolt pistols, they go to strength 5, so you actually wound more often into the targets you want to shoot at. But it's getting the chainswords to strength 5 in Death Company. That's where you're really going to feel it, because you're probably going to be running chaplains in this detachment. You're probably charging, and like if you can tip yourself over that strength 4 to strength 5 threshold, it's just +1 to wound. It's just a +1 to wound. If you're running a chaplain, it's +2 to wound.
Yeah,
It's good. It's very good.
and Chaplin could be the one carrying it. And it's an aura, so it's not just his own unit,
Yeah,
it's his own unit.
you
And the
can
unit that you've.
fire off death companies, single-use units. I think that's the friendly way of saying it. And you just have a guy sat behind them. He's not actually going into the fight.
Yeah, combi lieutenant, sat just nearby, being
And
annoying,
anyone tries to charge him, he just
just
reactive moves
runs
away.
away. Um, then final enhancement is the Angel's Fang. This is the one that I sort of read was like, I wish I could have this in my armies. And it's Adeptus Astartes model only. Each time the bearer makes a melee attack that targets a character, monster, or vehicle, the attack has the sustained hits 2 ability. Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
that's
this is
pretty good.
basically like, on the one hand, it's only sustain 2 compared to the sustain 3 you get in lag, but it's always on. Um, this pairs so well with the detachment rule because if you're trying to battle shock yourself, you're going to get +2 attacks, so you've got more procs of the sustained. This just juices one guy to the absolute max. Especially good on a foot captain where you can get your once per game birthday, um, and just do 10 attacks with a power fist or something like that.
And you are an army that has access to Oaths and Moment. Do you have Death Company that have hit rerolls? So Death
Yeah, I mean,
Company captain could
put
carry it
this
and
on it.
get native hit rerolls.
Yep, native hit rerolls on the Death Company captain.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty horrible. Um, okay, so a good set of enhancements that allow you to murder everything pretty well, and a detachment rule that allows you to kill things pretty well.
Yeah, yes,
Okay,
very, very much so.
as long as you can get battle shocked, which maybe not the easiest thing in the
It's
world.
never a guarantee, right?
Well, uh, let's start with the limb from limb stratagem, which is used in the fight phase, targeting a unit from your army that made a charge move this turn. And you can select the strength or armor penetration characteristic of melee weapons equipped by models in that unit to the end of the phase, add 1 to the selected characteristic. You can then choose to give your unit to give into the red thirst. If it does, it becomes battle shocked. Until the end of the phase, add +1 to the strength and AP of melee weapons equipped by models in that unit. Oh,
Hang
um,
on a minute.
so you can
So
just battle
the thing
shock
with this
yourself.
strat is it has one effect or it has three effects. It doesn't have one effect or two effects. It has one effect or three effects. Because you either go strength or AP, which you never do because you have a brain, or you go strength, AP, and +2 attacks.
Yes. And you're only in
This
combat.
is one of the most violent stratagems I think I've ever seen. Given how well it interacts with the detachment rule, which is already so violent,
Yeah.
um, this just turns any of your units into an absolute blender. I mean, getting an extra AP on chainswords is so huge. Um,
And strength.
without without even using that enhancement we talked about earlier, you're putting yourself up to strength 5 on chainswords, AP 2 with, oh look, 6 attacks each.
Yeah, and if it's Death Company, it's native hit rerolls. If it's anything else in your army, it's got Oath of Moment. So it's full hit rerolls. It's yeah,
I mean, we're going to see in the other strats, I think, that this is kind of like Death Company Detachment 2.0.
yeah,
It's it benefits everything, but there's a real focus on the Death Company because obviously they've got native hit rerolls. You get the wound rerolls, and then you get strats that and the detachment ability that just juice you even more. So you end up turning Death Company into one of the most murderous units in terms of volume of attacks and quality of attacks, but they're also so reliable.
yes,
Like
and
into
like
your ideal target, you could be looking at close to like 95% conversion rate.
yeah. I mean, the chainsaws are now strength 5. They're wounding on 3s. They're rerolling 1s. They're rerolling hits, hitting on 3s. So they're really, really efficient. If they've got a chaplain, it's wounding on 2s, rerolling 1s, um, and they just yeah, pretty good into infantry. I would say that's this attachment has a certain lean to it. Um,
Yes.
but we'll go to the next strat. A grim warning is any phase blood news unit from your army that was destroyed while it was within range of one or more objective markers you controlled at the end of the previous phase. You can use this stratagem even though the unit was just destroyed. Select one of those objective markers. That objective marker remains under your control until your opponent's level of control of that objective is greater than yours at the end of a phase. So it's sticky on death. It's when the unit dies, one of the objectives they were on that you controlled the previous phase, they can sticky. I mean, you could do it to Overwatch, shooting, fight phase, just good, I think.
So it's good value. The only catch is it's a Blood Angels keyword model. So you can't do this on intercessors.
Right.
It has to be a Blood Angel specific unit. So we're talking, I mean, you're taking them anyway. Death Company, Sanguinary Guard, Baal Predators can do it. So if you have a Baal Pred sat on your home shots into the midboard and someone kills it, you can sticky that.
Would
But I
the
think
standard Blood Angels captain, the specific
yes, he
Blood Angels
would.
captain, attach to a non Blood Angels unit, give them the Blood Angels keyword, so he could then sticky it
Yes, he
on
would.
death? Okay, there you
So
go.
if you're planning on running a foot captain, just make it the Blood Angels captain so that you get access to that stratagem on that unit.
Perfect.
Yeah, this is very much one of those nice to haves. It won't
Yeah,
come up in every game, but when it comes up, you'll feel real glad that you've got it. Like
definitely.
if if you're playing against Tau and you want to hold the middle, you walk out with the Blood Angels unit, they murder it violently from range because of course they do, they're Tau, and you go, I still hold that.
Yeah. And they're not playing the detachment with the move, shoot, move, where they just take it back from you anyway and make you feel really
Yeah,
bad. Next one is Armor of Contempt. You know what this does. I'm not going to read it. It's good.
we don't
Uh,
need to talk about Armor of Contempt.
Interestingly,
I
still
feel
using the old wording.
yeah, I feel like at this point we just have to accept that Space Marine detachments only have 5 stratagems.
Yeah, they have their own core strat for being Space Marines, which is
Yes,
Armor of Contempt. Um, Deathless Duty, 2 CP, whereas all the others are 1. Fight phase,
it's
just
worth it
after
though.
an enemy has selected its target, Death Company unit from your army that was set as the target of one or more of those attacks. To the end of the phase, each time model is destroyed. If that model has not fought this phase, do not remove it from play. Destroyed model can fight after the attacking unit has finished making its attacks. So it's a 2 CP automatic fight on death for Death Company, which
This
is,
is, I mean, automatic fight on death is always the best stratagem in any detachment it's in, right?
yeah,
Um, It's no different here. This is one of these strats where you will always make sure you're going into your opponent's turn with 2 CP minimum. Like
The
this
I
is
would
one
say
of those
the
strats.
interesting thing is it's 2 CP. It's a really good strat. You might have wanted your Death Company battle shocked the previous phase in your fight phase to get all the damage in.
If only there was some way to make something unbattle shocked.
I
If
I couldn't tell you
only.
what it is. um,
I could not. I couldn't say. Yeah, this
um,
this stratagem is great. You'll use it every single game because you're going to be running Death Company, and it's just value. There is a world if you're playing the melee matchup where you specifically burn a secondary in your first turn that you could have scored, so that you can go into your opponent's turn 2 with 4 CP, because then your opponent is looking at a board state where if they charge, they're going to get 4 on death in one place and combat interrupt in the other.
yeah,
And that is before you even consider the fact that you've got a fights first enhancement.
yeah. And there's Lone Op that has fights first. With Mephiston, you have not that you're taking Judicias, but you could take Judicias, who also fights first. So you could have an army that is almost uninteractive in terms of combat, where your opponent charges you and loses.
Yeah,
Um,
this is. I think this is almost a hard counter to melee armies.
quite possibly. Um, Next strat, Insentient Rampage. Opponent's shooting phase or fight phase, just after the enemy's selected targets of attack. Death Company unit from your army. To the end of the phase, models in that unit have a Feel No Pain 5 plus. Yeah, so there's a
Quite good.
well-known Death Company character, Lamartes, who has -1 damage. -1 damage with a 6 up Feel No Pain is okay, but with a 5 up Feel No Pain, it's pretty horrid, I feel. I don't know. I don't like it.
So this is another strat that it feels like it has one effect, but it actually has two. So you get the 5 at Feel No Pain. Great. You've doubled the number of Feel No Pain rolls you made. Each of your models effectively has 50% extra wounds. So they're effectively 3 wounds apiece. However, this has the second added benefit of when you charge into or your opponent's 3 damage unit charges into your Death Company with Lamartes, this is a 1 CP make your opponent cry stratagem.
Yeah, it's 3 and 2 damage weapons are just really, really quite difficult at killing into Lamatis. They just don't. They're
Yeah.
going to really struggle with access to this stratagem.
Everyone knows how good a 5 at Feel No Pain is into 2 damage attacks on 2 wound models. When you stack that with a -1 damage character, the durability just goes through the roof.
Yeah, without access to
Um,
armor contempt as well. Like,
it I will caveat it by saying it probably won't save the unit if your opponent really wants them dead. But it does mean your opponent probably has to put more into that unit to kill them than they would like.
yeah,
Because what they
definitely.
absolutely can't do is let it survive until your next command phase and you get to go, oh no, I'm battle shocked.
It's all the power fists are still alive, and now they're going to do 5 attacks each.
Oh no, what will I do? I guess I'll charge you, right?
Uh, and then the final strat, Red Wrath. Your movement phase, just after an Adeptus Astartes unit from your army advances. That unit is eligible to shoot or declare a charge in a turn in which it advanced. Or, like the other strat, you can give into the Red Thirst. If it does, it becomes battle shocked, and it can advance and shoot and charge. So another source of battle shock, which is great. Um,
It's also advance and charge in a melee detachment, pure
Melee
value.
attachment, where you were taking a lot of jump marines that move 12 base, and you have an
So
enhancement for Scout 6.
so you're moving 18 inches turn one, plus a potential 6-inch advance. So your Death Company can potentially move 24 inches and then charge.
Yes. And be battle shocks, they're doing 5 attacks each.
Yes.
Um, That is certainly
The,
a play.
there is not much to say about this stratagem other than it's good. It's always good, and 1 CP and being able to flex into Battle Shock and Advance and Charge is great.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of times where you will burn the shoot and charge specifically just so you can be battle shocked.
Yeah, you'll do it on a unit where you probably don't even bother shooting with them.
Yeah, just some bolt pistols, shooting them off because you can, because he's given yourself the option. You do it after your unit advances. So you can obviously roll the
You get
dice,
to see
see
how
how
far
far
you've
you go,
advanced.
and if you're like, oh, I still need a 7-inch charge, you just go advance and charge. You burn the other strat to get extra combat, or you go, oh, I'm 2 inches away, can't fail the charge, won't need a CP reroll. Let's go advance. Let's go everything. Go battle shocked.
Yep.
Um. So overall thoughts on the detachment?
Uh, it's great. I just think it's great. This is what a Battleshock detachment should look like.
Yeah.
Um, Battleshock yourself and be better. Um, I think you can talk from experience, but Night Lords, having seen this detachment, are just seething, right?
Um. I would say it's like it might be the hardest counter I've ever seen. Um. Like it's like okay, I'll play Night Lords. I get bonuses when I battle shot my opponent. I can battle shot them more easily, and my opponent then gets an army that goes, "Thank God you've done my job for me, so I can kill you faster."
Yep.
Um.
There's a world where you you try and get yourself wounded as the Blood Angels player so that you can stand near Night Lords and get battle shocked.
Yeah, I mean, I think that battle's a no contest. Is a very clear Blood Angels victory. I mean, this attachment just looks really strong. I
So
would say,
I
well,
think
I'll
there's
let
a
you go.
world where this detachment muscles out lag. Um, I think it potentially does what Liberator Assault Group wants to do better than Liberator Assault Group does, um, just based on the sheer violence that it can mete out. Um, I don't know if it necessarily does singles better than Angelic Inheritors does, because Angelic Inheritors has a lot more tech. You've got the 18-inch loan up, you've got the uppy downy. I think you've got more flexibility in scoring there. But if you want to go all in, I want to punch stuff and I want it to die very quickly. I think this might be the pick over Liberator Assault Group.
Yeah, I reckon quite possibly. I think the one thing it misses that Liberator Assault Group has is so to get you can get +1 strength on Death Company in an aura, so you can get that and you can spread that pretty well because it's 6-inch bubble. You can get +1 strength with a strat. However, there is no lance strat, there is no lethal strat, so you have to find your high strength weapons elsewhere. Sanguinary
Yeah,
Guard spears have native lance, so
they
that's
do.
an
Yeah.
option. You could
So
bring
I think
chaplains.
this detachment is going to be one where you do need shooting. I think if you wanna if you want to take this to singles and you don't want to focus on just being the melee counter, you want probably 2 ballista maybe a gladiator lancer. That will do your shooting into vehicles. It'll mean your opponents can't just move their transports up willy-nilly and be comfortable. And then all your infantry, you want to exclusively go into infantry targets because that's where you pop off.
Yeah,
Um, like you said, Sanguinary Guard, their spears have lance built in. You probably run them with a captain, so they get to strength 7. So, I mean, even at that point, you're still wounding Death Shroud on 3s when you charge.
yeah.
Um, Wounding on 3s, rerolling 1s into Death Shroud. I take that.
Yeah, yeah, that I mean that's great. It's exactly where you want to be. I think it is just like your power fists are no longer strength 10. You can't just be like, oh, my chainswords won't kill the rhino, but the power fist and the eviscerator and the 5-man death company will, which means the other guys can pile into it. You can't really guarantee that without some additional, maybe some shooting going in, or a grenades, or a J pies, or something like that.
Yeah, it. If you want, if you want your stuff to punch up into vehicles, chaplains, like you said, get that +1 to wound, um, or just you're probably using strats where you don't necessarily want to use them. Like
Yeah,
you don't want to find yourself having to put your death company with a chaplain into a rhino and then having to spend the CP to get +1 strength so you can be strength 5, taking you from 5s down to 4s. It's a lot to set up just to kill a rhino.
Yeah, yeah, you want to just do it right,
Exactly.
and then keep the CP for when you're on the other side of the wall and they have to come punch you to death. And you go, well, I'm going to fight on death.
Yep. What a mistake you have made.
Any standout picks for strats or unit combos that you've looked at?
So I think what in my mind at least, this detachment has actually opened up a lot of units that you wouldn't necessarily take in a Blood Angels army or Space Marines army because they have a chronic lack of attacks. So I think um, I, I I just happened to have bought the new Terminator Assault Squad, um, and I built them with Lightning Claws because 7 attacks each is actually hilarious. Um, but I genuinely think that the Thunderhammers could see some play. Um, you get the charge off and you've battle shocked yourself. Each of your Thunderhammer guys is doing 5 attacks each. A potential 9-3-2 with dev wounds. Reroll ones to wound
Yeah,
for 180 points.
yeah, and the Terminator chaplain still exists, and he could also give you +1 to. He also gives +1 to
Yep,
wound, and
he
can
gives +1 to
unbattle
wound.
shock you once per game.
So that's only the Tacticus foot chaplain.
Oh, okay, but is it an aura or his own unit?
12. He picks a unit within 12 inches. At the start of any phase, it becomes unbattle shocked.
Okay,
Um,
so
so
still
I
pretty
think
good.
there's a world. You definitely take one in this detachment because you want to be able to flex into the I've murdered you and now I'm unbattle shocked. But I
Yeah.
think there's a real world where you take two and one just runs around by himself.
Okay.
Because for 60 points, being able to point at something and say, you get to fight on death next turn, or you get to Armor of Contempt or 5 up Feel No Pain next turn, I think I'd pay 60 points for that.
Yeah. He could be the guy that carries your sanguinary tier enhancement for your +1 strength if he's going to sit near your death company anyway. You know,
Yep.
if they're
Um,
five mans, you're not running a character. He's probably quite a good choice for it.
Another unit that I'd probably consider that I don't think you usually see in Blood Angels lists is probably a 6-man aggressor unit, actually. Um, you can slot a Apothecary Biologist in, so you can get your lethal hits back.
Yeah.
Um, when you charge and you're battle shocked, you've got 5 attacks each with lethal hits and twin linked.
And they're just power fists, basically, right?
Yeah, 8-2-2, 5 attacks each. Obviously, you can make them 9-3-2, so they become very violent. Um, I think they're slow, um, but I think they can actually fill a role in a Rage Cursed Onslaught list where you've got that rel reliability of wounding something like higher toughness than your strength.
Yeah. Because it'd be fives with full rerolls, which you don't really have elsewhere unless you're bringing like dreadnoughts, and they are.
Yeah.
You don't have a run through wall strat. Whilst you
No.
can advance and charge them because it's not infantry limited or mounted limited, there's Redemptors are pretty speedy. Uh, the Brutalis or the Death Company Dreadnought can go pretty fast. Obviously, you can
Yep.
battle shock them as they advance and shoot and charge, which you want to because they've got quite good guns on them. Um, but it is a hard ask when you just maybe want to advance and shoot and charge your jump cap so you can really get the
Yeah.
reach on your opponent.
I
Um,
think I think most lists will probably start with two 10-man Death Company with jump packs, one with Lamarties, and then probably one with a chaplain, or maybe either a chaplain or a captain for the sustained one. That'll be a flavor choice, I think.
yeah,
Um, but I think you want to be able to put two 10-man bricks on the board and go. You can charge one. If you kill it, great. It's going to hit you back.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
and definitely,
this is it's a really interesting detachment. It's got some. It's a it's a cool detachment because it is very focused as well. You know what you want to do. There's no humming and hawing about, oh, do I want to sit back and shoot? Do I want to charge? It's all you want to charge stuff. You
yeah,
you want to charge stuff and you want to kill it.
and you'll do it pretty well, um,
Very,
by
very
all
well.
accounts. There's not really any other place you can get +2 attacks, which is such a strong buff.
I mean, if you want to get really silly about it, you run a six-man Blade Guard vet squad with the Blade Guard Ancient. Pop is once per game, and you got 7 attacks each at 5/2/2, 6/3/2.
Yeah, that's a lot of attacks. They've 4-up in run. Could you attach the ancient and then give them the once per game fights first as well?
Yep. What you could do is attach the Ancient to a unit that also has a Lieutenant on it. Suddenly you've got this 8-man monster brick that has lethal hits and 7 attacks each.
I mean, the lack of anti-tank that we were talking about suddenly sounds quite covered. You obviously cracking transports you're doing in multi activations in the fight phase then, but
Yeah,
definitely killing them. I think 8 guys, 7 attacks each, going into a vehicle with oaths and lethals, rerolling wounds of 1 at strength 6 potentially. So they're wounding T 10 and 11 on 5s. It's pretty good.
yeah. You've definitely got options. I think if you want to go all in and do all melee, you can. I think it's probably better if you put shooting in there. But yeah, you've definitely got options. I think there's one last thing that I wanted to mention as a sleeper hit, because you don't really tend to see them on the board, and that is Outrider squads.
Okay.
So Outrider squads, they are, let me just check, 80 points a squad. So that's 3 guys at T5, 4 wounds. So pretty tough. They don't just automatically die. They get 4 attacks each base at 4/1/1 because they have chainswords. So obviously that becomes 6 attacks each at 4/4/1/1. When they charge, they get +1 strength and damage. So baseline, they're going to 6 attacks each at 5/1/2.
For 80
Now, if you
points.
for 80 points. Now, if you spend the strat because you want them to be battle shocked, suddenly that's 6 attacks at 6/2/2 each.
Yes.
So 18 attacks at 6/2/2 for 80 points on a unit that
Yeah, I mean,
moves 12 inches.
and is T5 4 wounds model, so you can,
Yes.
yeah. And if they never make combat and all they do is score you points, it was 80 points,
It
10
was 80
points less
points, like,
than jump pack intercessors.
what, 5 points more than scouts?
Yeah, 5 points
And they
more than a
don't
combi lieutenant.
they don't die automatically like scouts do.
No, they don't. They're pretty durable comparatively.
So yeah, when we're done here, I'm going to go paint some Outriders, I think.
Yeah. I think that's probably everything. The attachment sounds horrible. I'm excited to avoid it in pairings because I'm going to play teams from now onwards, so I can avoid it. Um, Especially if I'm
Imagine
doing Night
playing
Lords.
teams specifically so you can avoid Rage Cursed Onslaught.
Yeah. Hopefully, Data Slate just makes everything Blood Angels 300 points, and I don't have to worry about it.
I
But
think that would be a fair and reasonable change to have made.
yeah, I think so too. Thank you guys for watching. We'll hopefully see you soon and can give you some feedback if these are seen at an event with Joe. And we'll see you later.